Okay, the topic of this video is resumes for Chinese schools. I'm talking with the video. um, you know, it, here's the thing. Um, you need to understand. I'm going to give you an example of that will illustrate the main key idea you should take away from this video. I had an Australian guy. I was helping him to apply to some of these schools, and there is an agent um, who was helping him find uh, this job. And the thing that kept coming back from schools, and I looked at his resume, I had spoken with him, he's a very intelligent guy, he had graduated from college, but all of his work experience, it was not detailed. They were just one-liners. The Chinese like to see, like, for example, the day, all of the details regarding your employment, even though they can't really check it or they don't really check it. And this guy, I suspect what was going on was the reason he didn't provide any details about the position, what it entailed, what the company was, what he exactly did for them. Maybe at least a strong full paragraph for each position. I anticipated the reason that he was just giving sort of these, here's the date, here's the place, right? Was an intern at XYZ Graphics and Printing for these 2 years. I mean, 2 years that you only had one line to talk about it. I suspect he was he reasoned to himself that, well, it's all fucking bullshit in this context anyways, because they're never gonna fucking check it. They're never gonna call up that person, that employer. They're never going to read it carefully. They're never going to do even a web search on them. So I assume he said, well, since it doesn't fucking matter, let's myself the employer, myself the employee, you the employer, let's spare each other both a little bit of waste of time, and I'll just put something on there because it's all pro forma anyways. He's savvy enough to understand that it is mainly pro forma. It's just sort of a formality, right? But he wasn't savvy enough to consider the fact that, well, at least they want you to comply with what it's supposed to look like. And they figured that the fact that you're not willing to make it look and at least appear to be what it's supposed to be, then there's something wrong, right? At least you could have filled it out. At least you could have, especially when you're 33 years old, 34 years old, and you graduated, 12 years ago, whatever, you should have more than 5 lines there, right? Um, so put in lots of little details. Okay, that means even if it seems strange, um, even if the job doesn't relate to this one. I mean, you think if the job didn't relate to the present one you're applying for, or the nature of the job would be self-explanatory, you think, well, you can save both people some time in not illustrating it, right? In a way, or not diving too deep into the details when they should know just on its face at first blush immediately that for example this section of the resume is not that relevant, it doesn't bear on your ability to teach, so let's not spend a lot of time on it. That's not the way they think. um, and so you need to, now here's another thing you really need to remember, you've got to know this. I was talking with a guy, he's from a Western country, and he's in charge of hiring teachers at a large school. Okay, and don't email me saying, "Hey, give me his contact and all that crap." I mean, I have done that a few times, but that's fine. Well, I suppose you can. Actually, yeah, do what you want. I mean, that's not the point. Here's the thing. He said to me, he was saying, Rob, a lot of these people that apply, they don't seem to get the idea that, fuck, if your resume doesn't show at least 2 years of work experience, preferably 2 years of teaching experience, you know, we're not going to be able to get him a work visa. At least needs to show that. I mean, his idea was fucking no one goddamn cares. The visa office fucking just wants to see, excuse my French, just wants to see it on the resume. Okay, he's got it. All right. Main thing is, are you a native speaker? Do you have a bachelor's degree? I have a whole separate video on the whole bachelor's degree issue. You can look at it. Believe me, it's okay. At any rate, and I also don't think too much is. I know people say that there's something changing about the verification of bachelor's degrees, etc. That remains to be seen. But nonetheless, you need to put on that resume, even if no one is checking, no one will know. You need to show in there, at least following graduation, 2 years of work experience, if you can. Now, I mean, if you're graduating yesterday and it shows very clearly that that's the date you're graduating, and then you're coming the next day to work in China, well, it can be a bit of a tricky problem. So you may, you know, I, you fight fire if you want. Fight fire with fire. Understand that. Look, you just want to get the job. You're qualified for the job. And if you send in a resume that doesn't show these things, then you're screwed. Because yeah, just you should know that. Um, Other than that, really, hopefully you're savvy, and also your resume, perhaps in your introduction or whatever, um, it should, um, well, I think I've said enough along those lines. It's again, the resumes are not that important. They're not that important. They're a little bit important, but the main thing is that you're here. The resume shows that you're competent enough to put a good foot forward. Um, and I mean, the more the better. If they think you're a really sophisticated person, highly educated and capable of handling lots of complex tasks, being organized for class, being able to put together a lesson plan, um, that of course is good, and so that can help. But really, what they want is they want someone who looks like an American or a Canadian or a British person, whatever. That's what they want. Um, and they also want a native speaker. I'm sorry, but they also want non-native speakers. Many non-native speakers do get decent English teaching jobs. That's for sure. Okay. And many of them are very good teachers. Many non native speakers are also very good teachers. I'm aware of it.